Jon, on your side of the ball, what position is the toughest for a true freshman to play a significant role?
I'd probably say the linebacker spot. I think because they're involved in the run game and the pass game. I think in our defense, there's a base fundamentals for everybody to get through. And then after that, it becomes all the different things. So, I would say the linebackers and the safeties, just because we ask so much of those guys.
Jamison had an interception Saturday night. What are your thoughts on him? Having that play and what it did for him and what it did for maybe you guys.
Well, yeah. Anytime you can get a takeaway, that's awesome. Surely helps our team. And it was a good one. It's great to see a young guy like that who really hasn't played a lot this season develop himself throughout the year. I think that's the hardest challenge for young guys coming in, that have been the stars of their high school team, and all of a sudden you're starting from the bottom again, and you work your way up. And he's done that throughout the year, and to be able to put him in the game, and he played well, and lots of stuff to improve on, but was a good start for him for sure.
How have you guys had to adjust when Jeremiah's been unable to play?
We've tried to just use, the next man up. I think we always try to talk about pairs and spares in our room and trying to develop, the first team to back up and then the spares, who those guys are. And last week in a couple spots we were using spares, and they're as important as the starters. So that's why you try to spend all your time. And, like I said, in the summers we talk about building spares and pairs for every position, and I've been doing that pretty much all my career. Try to make sure that you've got guys that can maybe be swing players and play both ways, and the next best guy in the game. And so I think our coaches have done a great job. I think Broom's done a great job of that in that room, and those kids are able to play both sides, and we had to do that the other night.
Jon, you mentioned the linebackers and the tough task it is for so many young players. How have they continued to grow? In what areas, I guess, have they grown the most? And particularly a guy like Will McLaughlin, who just keeps putting himself in position to make plays.
Yeah, I think, football 101, probably just understanding, the simple concepts that we view as simple, but they're not when you're playing. What's the down and the distance? What's the personnel group that's in the game? Where's the ball at on a hash in the middle of the field? And then all of that coordinating together. What's the personnel group with the formation, with where the ball's at? And I think just football 101. I think understanding the big picture of the game, and I think for the most part those guys are able to play because they're sharp enough to understand the playbook. But I think their growth comes in football 101. I think that's what repetition gives you. That's what veterans players give you. All that stuff becomes rapid response. So I think continuing to grow in that area, and we still got lots of room for improvement.
TJ said that around after his sophomore year, that was when he kind of noticed he wasn't playing as well as he could have. There needed to be a change. What did you see from your end about maybe when he stepped up or how he stepped up?
Well, I think the big thing is I think it's like any of us. If it's not going the way you want, look at yourself, sort it all out. And I think he was capable of doing that. Got great backing at home. And I think the idea that, if I really want to be special at this thing, then I have to prepare special. I have to be a professional off the field and in the weight room and in the study room. And I think he mentally found himself in that spot, like he said. And I think when you admit that, it's not what I want it to be, then you're the person that can change it. And I think that's what he's done. And it takes a mature guy to do that.
And kind of going off of that, not being the player he expected to be here, he came in as an offensive recruit. What have you seen from him the past 4 years? What has it been like to see him grow into the defensive?
Well, it's awesome to see him grow. It's awesome to see guys change on their own, to understand, sometimes as coaches you kind of keep explaining and trying to get them to understand, and then the light comes on, and then when they understand, it becomes player driven and personally driven. And it's been fun to watch him do that, to watch him practice now, to maybe compared 3 years ago. Just grown up, and everything he's trying to do is to be a professional. And and I think all the other players see it too.
Coach, when you analyze Texas on film, their receiver talent seems to be something that stands out. What is the biggest challenge for you guys trying to slow down Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell?
Well, I think that's a couple things. I think one, that group of wideouts is the best group that we've seen as a whole, without question. Worthy's an incredible player against every single team. Doesn't matter who he's playing. But I think you'd be remiss not to mention the offensive line, who's become veterans who protect the quarterback at all cost. The quarterback himself throwing footballs a year older. All of that goes together. So now all of a sudden there's more time back there. These guys are running deeper routes. They're able to run full routes. They're protecting the quarterback, and so it's a great challenge. Because again, there's times back there, he's back there a long time, and those guys are running, free down the field. So it's a tremendous challenge, but I think it's a whole team thing for them. I think, you really have seen their offensive line grow. You've seen the quarterback grow. And because of that now, the tailbacks have grown, and so has the wideout group.
You talked about the challenges that linebackers and safeties have and the responsibilities they have in your defense. Specifically defending a tight end like Jatavian Sanders, what challenges are there?
Well, just him individually, talent-wise, I think, he's big. He blocks. There's some guys that can block and play tight end. There's some guys that can catch routes in tight end. The difficult challenge are guys like him that can do both. Our threats down the field, our threats protecting, threats in the run game, the split zones, all the different things that he's able to do. So he gives them multitude of offense because of him being in the game. So it's a real challenge.
Jon, I realize you only speak for one side of the ball, but what does it say about this team with all the factors you had coming into the season that you are in this position to essentially control your own destiny to the Big 12 championship game?
Man, great question. I think what it says is I think our leadership starts at the top with Coach. I think he's been driven, been the same guy all along. I think our seniors have responded to that, and I think our young people have bought into what the seniors have asked. And so I think it has all started from the top down, from Coach. Deserves a lot of the credit. And then our seniors would be that next group of leadership that deserve a lot of credit for keeping this group together. And you have to give the young people credit for buying into what both of those groups have asked. And I think that's been the cool thing. And I think the coolest thing for me with the seniors has been that they realized early on, we can't do this by ourselves. We're going to need all of these young people in this room. And I give them credit because not a lot of seniors are willing to do that. It's about them, or, man, this is going to be tough, and we lost, some of our guys, and sob story, and they realized that nobody really cares, and they were smart enough to understand, man, let's look around here. We need all these cats. We're going to have to teach them and coach them and help them, and, man, what a great job they have done.
Anything further? Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it. Yep.